So I feel like this is like my sixth attempt at recording this video for like various different reasons, and I feel like I'm not able to say exactly what I'm trying to say, but I'll try, and whatever comes out is what comes out. What's good, bro? Um, so life happens for us. Life happens for us in so many different ways that it's sometimes very difficult to be grateful for the hardships that we go through. And obviously, because things are difficult, it's hard to be grateful about them. Like, nobody really wants to go through something hard or something difficult, but that hardship really strengthens you for future successes and future endeavors. Like, when you get out of a very stressful situation and you find yourself in another situation which is on like a tier level less stressful, it's nothing to you. It's really nothing to you. It's when you enter situations where it feels like it's overwhelming, meaning it's at like a higher tier of stress that you're not accustomed to, that you're not sure that you can handle it. But once you get out there, your ability to handle stress increases. So you have to almost go through this cycle of, and this is more so for if you're trying to like grow, right? You have to put yourself in these stressful situations that will feel overwhelming at first until you get a handle on it. And then as you continually try to expand on whatever it is that you're trying to do, that stress level will increase. But over time, you will be able to meet it there. Because we, as incredible and as great as all of us are able to adapt to any of our situations. You can just really look at human history, for example. I don't really want to dive deeper into that, but if you know, you know. There's nothing that we can't overcome. There's nothing that we can't endure, and there's nothing that we can't honestly take and make better. And you can look at all of Black culture as an example of that. So there are times where I get really upset by how long it's taken me to make the kind of progress that I want. And my friend Q, who's like working on his brand, Doban, can really attest to that because it's something we both experienced at the same time. And it's incredibly frustrating when you feel like you have so much knowledge and so many ideas that you want to put out there, and you're seeing other people like quite literally make the kind of headway that you want, and it still feels like you're at the start of the Monopoly board. But over time, I started to see that even though I wasn't getting the progress that I really wanted, the knowledge and information would allow me to slingshot. So instead of stumbling and fumbling through the process of being an entrepreneur, of running a clothing brand, of being a music producer, I am almost like being held back, almost like a slingshot. So when it's my time, and I know my time is coming, I'm out of here. And I believe that is the same for my brother, and I believe it's the same for all of my peers. I've never really met someone who didn't have greatness within them. It's kind of like what I said on my last video. Greatness is in all of us. It's just with our life experiences, sometimes we go through things that don't affirm that. So I want to be able to create videos and have progress, but be transparent about it, because there's really nothing in this world that can stop you. But kind of going back to what I wanted to make the video about. So unknowingly, we have all been through a lot of things, whether it's like relationship, family issues, job issues, but all of these things are tailoring us. They're tailoring us for the thing that we actually want. There's like this saying where it's like, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you pray for. But there's an understanding, at least in the Christian community, that what you pray for, you will receive, but it won't be in the way that you think you'll get it. And I think that definitely ties into the experiences that we have, because you may want to be a millionaire, a billionaire, but you're not that person who can do that yet. You have to be humbled. You have to suffer setbacks so that way you can understand how to move past that. You have to fail so that you understand how to adapt and adjust. You have to succeed so you know what winning feels like, but in a sense of not really getting too big-headed. Everything that you go through, good and bad, is making you the person that, if you allow it, that you want to be. And you have complete control over how your experiences can shape you. You can decide to change the narrative or your perspective on these situations. And that's the power of the mind. I hope I'm not like rambling or anything like that. I feel like everything I've said so far has been pretty on topic and on par, but just to kind of keep going with it. When I took the time to start looking into like what it takes to be like an entrepreneur, every bit of piece of information that I got was that the entire process is stressful, top to bottom. And there's nothing about it that's going to be easy. Even when you reach a certain point where you have employees, you have a demand, you have a customer base, you have a product, and you're making money, even then it's technically going to get harder. Like I said earlier, the stress has increased. So you will always be in this range of, okay, you got what you want and you're here with it, and obviously you don't want to settle. Never settle. Never settle. That's something that should never be explained, and you should know why. Or I'll make a video explaining why you should never settle, but never settle. So you have this range of stress that you're going to go through when you start expanding on whatever it is that you're working on and whatever it is that you're trying. And once you get here, that stress level is going to raise again, and it's going to keep happening over and over and over again, because we think that life has this like end goal, right? Or our goals, like the moment we hit our goals, we're good. But the thing is, life doesn't stop. Nothing stops. The earth doesn't stop. It continually keeps moving. So life will keep going, your goals will keep evolving, and you will keep changing. And that is essentially what life, well, I would say one of the reasons why life puts you through the things that it puts you through. It's so that way you can keep evolving and you can keep growing, and you develop the necessary characteristics that will allow you to overcome all the future trials and tribulations. So in a sense, you have to be grateful for what you're going through right now, because it's preparing you for what you're going to go through. And I don't necessarily think that life is suffering, which is like a famous Buddhist quote. I think that suffering is a part of life. But I think on the other side of suffering, which is joy and happiness, it's hard to enjoy happiness if you've never really been through suffering. And it's incredibly difficult to understand the purpose of suffering if you've never gotten through it and saw the change that it made in you. And even though there's some people whose suffering you can say is so traumatic that what is the possible benefit of it, I have come across thousands, hundreds of thousands of stories of people who have suffered traumatic experiences, and they took it upon themselves to become a hero in a community, whether it's like battered women or people with split personalities, like they will take it upon themselves to say, I know what happened to me, but I'm going to use that and make a difference for that same community, or raise enough awareness so it doesn't happen again. And that is an example of the power of perspective. That is an example of the gift of suffering, if that makes sense. Because I don't want to say that someone's suffering is a gift, but if you're able to adjust your perspective on it, you'd be so surprised what the trauma of your life has given you. And this may be like controversial, but I'm comfortable with that. I'm very comfortable with that. I've studied enough history, I've studied myself, I've studied others to know that the things that you go through make you stronger. And if you allow it, it'll make you better. And if you choose to, you can make other people around you better because of the things that you've been through. And I think that as long as you take into account who you are, what you're capable of, the things that you want from life or in life, you'll realize that the things that you've been through have been preparing you for that moment, and everything else that you go through is helping you get there. So when you feel like quitting or giving up, remember that what you're dealing with is a part of the process. And nothing lasts forever. Nothing at all. The only thing that lasts forever is the purpose that God put in you, love, and music. So I think that's everything I wanted to say. I hope that, once again, what I had to say helps somebody out there. And I hope that even if you're like offended by one of the things that I say, you understand where my intention lies, which is pure. And it's always going to be pure, because I only see the greatness within all of us, regardless of our life experiences. Like, shout out to Skepta, but I have like, you can't even see it, I have like greatness only tattooed on my thumb. And that phrase means a lot to me, because I don't even know how to explain it, honestly, but greatness is in all of us. And if you don't know what the greatness in you looks like, then I implore you to find out.